Thank you. I mean, what can I say? Those first 3 quarters, I just thought we were about as good as we can be in a lot of the areas that you need to be good in this time of the year. You know, as you can see, you know, from watching them play, you know, they're not the easiest team in the country to prepare for. You know, they're very skilled, you know, in the backcourt, and they make a lot of plays. Individuals that make a lot of great plays. But especially these two were they were spectacular, you know, in every sense of the word. And sometimes, you know, when you shoot the ball well, you know, people think that if you shoot the ball well, you play well. You know, and Kia shot the ball better than well. She shot it amazingly well, and but she played really well, and that's even more important. You know, and Gabby was Gabby. You know. You know, we might be the only team in America that can have their center do the things that Gabby did tonight when the other team is trying to put some pressure on you. We're fortunate that we have somebody like that. So you saw it, and they did it, and I got a chance to see it, and they had me shaking my head a couple times. Usually when Kia hits the side of the backboard in practice, it goes out of bounds. This time it happened to go in, so you knew it was a big night for us.
Okay, at this time we're going to take questions for the student athletes. We'll go right here. 1, 2.
Pat Eaton-Rob from the Associated Press. Kia, can you just describe what it was that you were doing there in the first quarter? Were you in a different position than you normally were? You seemed to be very open, and you just seemed to hit them. But can you describe what was going on there?
I think just in the first quarter we did a really good job of moving the ball and finding openings for everybody. I think because our ball movement was so quick and crisp and the passes were dead on point, you know, when we were open, we were knocking in shots. So that's probably why a lot of them went in.
Okay, back down here again.
Hi, Gabby. Lindsey Kramer from the Post-Standard in Syracuse. Could you sort of dissect or take us through, you know, you guys are so long, you create so many problems. Take us through your defensive effort tonight, especially on Sykes and Peterson, please.
They were tough to guard. You know, they're aggressive. They can attack the basket, but they can also shoot. So it's hard because you can't play off them too much. But what's nice is, you know, I'm long, Kia's long, Nafisa and Lou are really long. So we can still get a hand in their face while still getting them a step. And I think together we played really good team defense on them.
Okay, we're going to go in the back and then right here.
Kia, Joe Zone, Channel 3 Hartford. As you kept making threes, you kept reacting more and more. I couldn't tell whether you were saying you were stunned that they kept going in or, yeah, of course they're all going in. Which one was it?
A little bit of both, maybe. You know, once you see 1 or 2 go in the net and you shoot it with confidence, confidence is half the battle. And I remember when I was a freshman, I didn't really shoot it much. I remember Mariah Jefferson talking about how you just had to get in the gym and see it go in the net a couple times, and then you could shoot it confidently. And that's how she got her shot to that. And I felt like this week, if I could get in the gym, see a couple go through the net, just shoot them confidently, and if you're open, knock them in.
Okay, right in the middle.
Azar from MV Magazine. Were you surprised at how many times they were leaving you open after they seen how hot you were getting?
I was not as surprised. I think we do a really good job of moving the ball, using our offense, setting great screens. I think if you looked at a lot of the open shots that we had, you'll see 2 or 3 really great screens that were set right before. And when we move the ball like that, it's hard for the defense to keep up with it. So to play like that offensively and to have that cohesiveness that we had out there today, it's probably a big reason why a lot of our shots were as open as they were.
Rich down front.
Rich Elliott from the AP. Kia, when you hear a team talk before the game that they have the best backcourt in America, does that provide extra motivation for you guys to come in and really show out against them?
I mean, it allows you to play with a bit of a chip on your shoulder, and at the same time, for us, we like to prove it with the way that we play. And I think today it wasn't a one-person show where one person had to shut down Peterson or Sykes. It was a team defensive effort. I think we did a great job of understanding when we got on them what to do, force their weaknesses, and like I said, as a team, when you play that well together, when you're all on the same page like that defensively, it helps you translate to your offense real quick.
25 minutes left on the open locker room. We're going to go over here to Jim.
Kia, yesterday, number one seeds had to fight for their lives to make it to the next round. I'm sure you watched those games. Was there a point of emphasis with your team? Hey, let's come out and let's just take hold of this thing really quick and make sure that it doesn't get really dicey down the stretch.
I mean, as a team, we definitely have seen the tournament and other games and how they've gone, and that's not something that we wanted to do. We wanted to focus on throwing the first punch today and really stepping out and dominating, imposing our will, and I think we did a good job of that.
Okay, we're going to go in the front here and then to the back.
Gabby, when you see Kia performing as well as she did tonight, is that just something really special to be a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. I could just see it before the ball even left her hands that it was going to go in. You could just kind of see that confidence and look in her eyes, and we feed off it. Then we all start to get excited, and then other people start making plays because we all just start playing with this kind of energy, I guess.
Okay, in the far back there.
Henry Chisholm from News 8. This is for both you guys. I know how important it is to play in this gym and to put on a show in this gym. Talk about how much it means to you guys to close it out this year with the win like this.
It was just fun because we had a lot of fun on the court today. So it was cool that our fans got to enjoy that with us. And I think we said at the end of the game, sometimes people leave a little bit early. Everyone stayed for the entire game. And it was just things like that. Everyone was really engaged and everyone was really excited to be here tonight.
Big shout out to our students who came out in full force and were loud up in the entire time.
Okay, anything else for the student athletes? All right, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to open it up for questions for the head coach. We'll start here and then go to the back.
Hi, Coach. So just to clarify, you've seen a lot of impressive performances in 11 national championships, 108 in a row. You came in here sort of shaking your head like, wow, that was something. I don't know if this was your best game ever, but this was really one of the best performances you've seen from your team in the run.
Yeah. We've certainly had, a number of them. When you play, play as many games as we've played against some great teams. But that first quarter, and then following it up in the second quarter. When you watch our team play and you see the things that they're doing out there, we had 33 baskets and we had 30 assists. I mean, take a minute to think about that. All right? They had 26 baskets and they had 8 assists. It's just unusual. I'm not saying anything derogatory about them. I'm just saying it's unusual to do what we did, and we do it quite often, and that's why we can have performances like we had today because our ball movement was incredible. We knew they were going to press. We knew there were going to be traps. We knew they were going to come from a lot of different areas. But like I said, we have 5 good ball handlers out on the floor, and all 5 of them feel really comfortable with the ball. And when you have 5 players that can all make plays, you can have a performance like we had today. And they were good. I mean, you got to give it to them. They were good. I shake my head. They were really good.
Geno here in the back here.
Yeah.
Kia's making all those threes at the end of the half. She's got a wide open one all set to go, and she dumps down that perfect pass to Gabby at the end of the half. Is that what you mean when you say she played a great game?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, she made a lot of great plays that don't get seen, that they don't stand out. But she handled the ball well. She made the right pass at the right time. And there are times when, kids, they get sidetracked with what they're trying to do. We're trying to get the best possible shot every time down the floor. And if that's you, then you need to shoot it. And in that case, it wasn't her. It was somebody else that had a layup. And, so I think, the performance, Kia's, it just speaks for itself. It's just one of those things that, kids dream about. I want to have a game like that. I want to have a game like that. I never had a game like that. I want to have a game like that. I want to have a game like that.
Okay, down in front, and then we're going to stay on this side.
Mario Chambers, 4.0 Sports Media. Coach, how do you feel you take away the first option, second option, third option to beat UConn? They better have a sixth option, meaning that a coach need to come off the bench to beat UConn. Can you explain that?
I just had, somebody else asked me, whether or not, there's a way to stop us. Can we be stopped? And I think we have to help. I think in order for us to, not reach the goals that we have, I think we have to help the other team. We have to help by playing poorly defensively, or we have to miss a lot of shots and just not play well. And that's capable of happening. That's why I always say, these are young kids, and what they did, that's why what they did today was amazing, because none of them have ever been in this situation in their past history in the NCAA tournament. This is a first for them. So when we've got it going like we did, it just seems like the minute you come out on somebody, then it's this guy, and the minute you come out on that guy, then it's that guy. And as I said, we're able to spread the floor, and when your center's your fastest guy on the team and this is a tremendous ball handler, that's really, really tough on the other team, because whatever big guy you put on her, it's a tough matchup. And then you try to put somebody as quick as her, and she just overpowers you in the post. I mean, it's good. Today was good.
Okay, we're going to go to Jeff and then Rich.
Jeff Jacobs, Harvard Current. Geno, what was your best passing team that you've had? And could you just talk about this team as a passing team? You talk, both Q and you hit on, like, all five of your guys can pass. So how does your team this team fit in passing excellence, and which team was the best?
Yeah. I keep saying that I'm surprised. This team surprises me in a lot of ways. We give up more layups than any team I've ever coached. You saw that. So there's a lot of surprises with this team, When we had Stephanie Dolson in the middle of our offense, and we had Stephanie and Bria and Kalina, and then we added Stewie and Tuck in that group. That was pretty amazing team. Again, when your center can really, really facilitate your offense, that just makes the other four guys that much better passers, But we have 5 guards on the floor. Well, 4.5. Feast is not really a guard, The thing that Fisa knows best about passing is she loves when it comes to her. Some people say, do you enjoy passing? She goes, yeah, the ones that come to me so I can shoot layups. She's now one of our better passers. However, relatively speaking, she's a good passer. The other guys are really, really good passers. And it's as good as any we've had. I got to give it to them. they just really, they're really unselfish too, man. Like we really don't have guys on our team that are trying to get X number of points or, trying to set records or anything like that. They're really unselfish. They really play well together and they enjoy being on the floor together. And that's half the battle. They look for each other. There's a lot of people that are good passers, but they're not necessarily willing passers. We've got guys that are pretty good passers and they're willing. They want to. Today was good. Today was good. Today was a good day.
Go ahead, Rich.
Geno, Kia said that she got extra shots in the gym last week heading into the tournament. Does that just speak to her desire to continue to improve and continue to excel?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at our team, every one of them has tremendous strengths, and obviously every one of them has some weaknesses. They're not perfect. But, for 2 years here, Kia's made a living off of, just get to the right spot at the right time, catch it, and shoot it. Nothing crazy. And because of the players that she's been surrounded by, she gets a lot of them in her first 2 years, obviously. And now coming into this season, it was more of a, okay, well, now I know I'm going to get a lot of them. It was like the first 2 years, well, Stewie's going to get hers, and Mariah's going to get hers, and Tuck's going to get hers, and whatever's left over, those other guys got. I think coming into the season, Kia knew she was going to get a lot of shots. She could get as many as she wanted. She also knows that early in the season when she wasn't making any of them, after a while, you're not going to get as many. The ball doesn't seem to find you as much when you're not making shots. And she's determined. She's a determined kid. So she's in the gym. I wasn't kidding about the other day working on layups. It didn't help, but she spends a lot of time in the gym on her own. We got a shooting gun. She's in there by herself. She puts the time in. She's a worker. And she's being rewarded by it. And she's healthy. She feels good. It's a big part of it.
About 13 minutes left on the open locker room. We got time for two more. We're going to go here and then in the back.
Azar Johnson, Envy Magazine. I wanted to know what was the game plan for Syracuse, because the other night when they were focused on one of their main players, other players stepped up and were shooting and making their shots. What did you guys do tonight to stop that?
I think the game plan when you're looking at Syracuse on film and you watch them play the other night against Iowa State, whatever the case may be, you're trying to see like what are not like perceived strengths. I mean, like what are real strengths? Like like when crunch time comes, what are they trying to do? What are they going to do? And you look at all their numbers and you look at all their stats throughout the whole season, and it's going to be in Peterson's hands. She's going to decide who gets what shot. And a lot of times she's getting it, which that's problem number one. When somebody has the ball in their hands all the time and they're going to take a lot of shots, because that means they're really hard to guard because somebody's got to work their brains out. It's different if somebody's got to get them the ball, but she's got it all the time. So that's a problem. She's hard to guard. So that's strength number one. Two, when Sykes gets it, she's just going to put her head down and go to the basket. And you're not going to be able to stop her. She's just going to go. So, that when they got down early, that's what was going to happen. Those two guys were going to take over the game because that's what they've been doing all year long. So we just defensively said, all right, this is going to be really hard, but one kid's going to have to be like help over here on Cooper, the freshman. And we even asked one of our kids on the bench, like, if she comes near you, you guard her because she shoots from right in front of our bench. All right? So we got that problem. And then we kind of used everybody else to kind of help on those two kids, you know. And I thought we got them a little bit in the first half where they were trying really hard to get shots. I thought they had to try too hard to get shots. So the shots they ended up getting were not within the rhythm of their offense. Then they settled in and started getting more shots. So, you know, they were averaging 30 attempts from three, and they make 9. They ended up 8 for 20. But after they made most of them when the game was already over. So when the game was being decided, they made 3. And they only took 8 in the first half. So we took away their biggest weapon. And that was obviously was a double whammy for Syracuse. We took away their biggest weapon, the 3, and we really hurt them with the 3 that we got. So it ended up being great for us in both ways.
All right, the last one in the back.
Coach, Matt Halsworth from NBC and CBS in Syracuse. Just wanted to ask you, well, first say that we both know UConn and Syracuse are brand names in the world of college basketball. Jim Boeheim, what he's done with the men. The fact that Coach Q is getting the women up to pace, is that good for the women's game to have Syracuse relevant on the women's side?
Yeah, we addressed this a little bit yesterday in the sense that, you know, the game of women's basketball is not where the men's game is right now, but it's taken the men's basketball. Man, I remember 1972 when I was a senior in high school. You couldn't name 10 teams that were great, and they were all the same ones. UCLA, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, blah 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 blah. Funny, same ones as today, right? For the most part. So for the longest time, women's basketball has been just like that. You know, you can name 10 great teams every year. They're going to be trying to get to the Final Four, and everybody else is like on the outside looking in. So whether it's Syracuse or somebody else, Oregon, okay, Oregon won today, and they're in the Sweet 16. They beat Duke. You know, last year, Washington, Oregon State, Syracuse. That has to happen more and more and more and more. And, yeah, you know, when you say Syracuse around the country, everybody, you know, automatically thinks basketball, even though they've had a great football tradition for a lot of years. Everybody thinks basketball when they think Syracuse basketball, you know. And the fact that, you know, Jim Boeheim, the fact that Jim was, you know, he was in the room with Naismith when they decided it was going to be 10 feet to basket. You know, they have a long tradition of basketball at Syracuse. You know, he's been around a long time at Syracuse. And I just saw he's going to be around longer. And I'm happy to hear that, too, by the way. I'm happy that he's staying there. But we need more of that. We just don't have enough of them. So what Q's doing is really good, you know. Matter of fact, right before the opening tip, Chris Daly was sitting there, and they were announcing the starting lineups, and, you know, and the crowd was going into it. And she looked at me, and she said, you know, you say Syracuse, UConn. Hey, it's Syracuse, UConn. That's a rivalry. Forget men's basketball, women's basketball, anything. Those 2 words. Obviously, Syracuse, Georgetown. I get that. But Syracuse, UConn. That's, you know, those are basketball names around the country. And that's, I think, any place that has had great success in men's basketball. Kentucky's done it. Okay. Oregon's doing it now. Any place that's had great success in men's basketball, if they hire the right person and they do it the right way, can have a great women's basketball program because the infrastructure is already there. As long as they get support from the president and the AD, and obviously Syracuse seems to have that. It's a long answer, but I needed to say all that stuff.
Thank you very much.